It's that part of the show where we catch up with Kim Anderson and talk about the wheat markets. Kim, has there been any news in the markets?
Well, most of the news is in the world market. Of course, they're talking about Russian wheat production, but not necessarily this year's production. I think it's pretty much stable at around 2.6 billion bushels. There was one analyst came out this year and they thinks that Russian wheat production has peaked out and will probably back off 2 or 3% as they bring in other crops along with wheat. The question is it 2 or 3% off of 3.1 billion or 2 or 3% off of 2.6 billion? An interesting deal, the Iraqis tendered for 475,000 tons of wheat this week. Their bids, I think they took one around $7.35 a bushel, cost and freight. That poured in at Saudi Arabia. And you can compare that to $7 in mid-July. And lastly, Iraq announced that they wanted to look at buying wheat from Russia. You could get concerned about that, another Russian market there, but Russia's topped out on exporting their wheat. They export all the wheat they produce. It's just which countries are going to get it, and so I think that'll have zero impact on our price.
So to dig a little bit deeper into that, you said tender. How does that work? Does the country say, we want wheat and put it out to bid? How does that work?
Yeah, that's exactly how they do it. Egypt, they said, we want to buy 475,000 metric tons delivered on such and such period. And then countries, not countries, but companies, Cargill and other large ADM, other large countries that deal both in the United States, they deal in Argentina, they deal in Australia, they have deal out of even Russia. They'll bid on that, they'll make offers to the Saudis based on a certain protein meeting their contract specs originating at a certain country, and then the Saudis select that offer that they feel best with.
So it's not a company in a country saying, hey, I need this kind of wheat. It's actually the country, the kingdom, the collective?
Well, it could be a flour miller in a country like Mexico. One or several flour mills may get together and tender for a certain amount of wheat to come in. But if it's Egypt or if it's Saudi Arabia or a country like that, then it is the government buying agency that tenders for that wheat.
So to bring that back stateside, is there any news in the wheat world going on?
Well, if you look at what's going on the wheat market here, they're mostly talking about plantings. All winter wheat plantings were reported at 89%. The average is about 94. Kansas at 90, average is 98. Oklahoma is 84. The average is 85. So Oklahoma's way behind. And they're talking about, I was talking to some producers this week about their late planted wheat. I think they feel better for the harvest only wheat with the late planted wheat. Their talk is that wheat that was planted early, that's for harvest only, is overtaken with weeds, and they've got a lot of weeds problems that they've got to take care of. And so if it'll dry out and then get this wheat in, it's probably better off than if they'd have got it planted early.
So it sounds like there are countries out there wanting to buy wheat. There's Oklahoma wheat being planted a little bit late. Both of those, does that help the price of wheat in Oklahoma?
I think that'll help the price of wheat as we get out into June of 2019, because I think late planted wheat, when you don't have the weed competition for those nutrients, you're going to have probably a higher quality kernel, and the market's going to need that kernel. We've talked about that earlier, next June. And so I think it'll help our prices if we can get it in and get it up and harvested in good condition.
Let's jump into cotton. There's a lot of cotton still in Oklahoma.
And that cotton, most of that cotton's still in the fields. You look at the average amount harvested on this time of year, right now it's 31%. On the average, we're about half done, or 48%. And cotton price in Oklahoma just pretty stable. It's went up a little bit on the board, but Oklahoma hadn't seen much of that price increase. I don't see much reason for it to go up or down, because I think the world pretty much has an idea of what our cotton production is going to be.
Okay, thank you much. Kim Anderson, grain marketing specialist here at Oklahoma State University.